Welcome, everyone. Today we have another partner in focus session, another awesome session. And today we are joined by Hord. So we have Meir. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, first of all, Sean. We're really excited to be here, be part of the SSV family as well. Um, my name is Meir Rosenschein. I'm the product manager within Hord.
Hmm.
Hord is a company within the Web3 index, in the Web3 space that's operated by a parent company named Decentralab. So Hord is one of the sub companies. We have a few others in the space. And Horde is in the ETH staking business. That's what we're here to talk about.
Hmm. Awesome. So could you tell us a bit more about the background of Hord? So when did it start?
Yeah,
What was the thinking behind this?
yeah, for sure. So Horde was actually started a bit over 2 years ago now.
Hmm.
Um, Initially, our app was created with intention to let people create tokenized index funds. So let anyone kind of tokenize an asset or multiple assets, and have other people join a pool, and that with that invest in a crypto strategy. Um, we launched in 2021, which was a difficult time to launch
Mm.
that type of product in the space, unfortunately. Um, we saw that people were, as token prices were plummeting, people's reputation was tied very tightly to this product, it was difficult for people to join. Um, but we were kind of exploring what to do next, how to use this technology, which was very strong. And as this was happening, we were noticing, the Ethereum staking landscape kind of develop with Lido and Rocket Pool and others. And we noticed that that's kind of like a real big use case for our technology. We already built a very strong kind of pooled assets infrastructure, which is what an ETH staking pool really is, because an ETH staking pool is creating a receipt token, an LSD, which represents in it Ethereum that's staked plus rewards generated by validators.
Hmm.
Um,
So basically what you're saying is, you launched it, um, kind of like focusing on tokens, but then you kind of focused it to ETH
yeah,
staking based on, the market, and you kind of set up the infrastructure already, right, to take advantage of what was happening at that time. Okay.
exactly.
And so can you kind of bring me up to speed then? So from 2021 to 2023, like how things have progressed since then?
hmm So I'd say we've been in the staking game since late 2022. That's when we started working on our product now. We launched a very early beta in February of this year, a closed beta, and we made necessary improvements. Everything has been very stable and secure within the app, which has been good. But I'll get to this, I guess, a little bit later in the conversation. But it's very important for us to do things slowly within Horde, specifically with regards to security.
Hmm.
People's ETH are staked with us. We take that seriously. So we launched the beta in February 2022. We launched an early adapters program last month that we'll talk a little bit more about.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Hmm.
and we're integrating further now. We're going to have our withdrawals um, within the app, hopefully in the end of this month, and
They're
then
the
we're going
first
to
withdrawals.
the withdrawals will be implemented in the end of this month.
Hmm.
Um, it wasn't currently available, and yeah, and then we're going to start integrating with SSV as well. There's a lot more we're working on.
So there's a lot going on then, right? Especially since last year, you've got a lot of things are going live, being activated now. So you touched on this early adopters program. Could you give us the rundown on that?
Yeah, so we're to celebrate our first public launch.
Hmm.
We're basically offering incentive to users through an early adopters program. And the first incentive we're offering is we're adding our own token, our Horde token, HORD, to the pool as additional incentive. So when users stake ETH, they receive our LSD, which is called HETH. And in addition, they start receiving Horde tokens as well, which they can use and sell. And we'll get into what they can use Hord for. But that was the first thing we did for the early adopters program. And in addition, we're partnering with a few platforms, Galaxy and airdrop.io, to make social missions for early community users, and it will result in an additional Hord airdrop. So we're trying to build our community from the ground up right now, and just incentivize early adopters.
Okay. Um, do you want to touch a bit on there now that we, kind of delving into the program itself? I think people would be curious to learn more then about this Horde token. You said it's to incentivize at this early stage. So is it something that's just available initially? Or how would it fit into the longer plan? And, kind of touch on how it can be used. Can it be used on exchanges and things?
Right. So we're talking about the Horde token, which is
Mm-hmm.
separate from the HETH or LSD.
Mm-hmm.
But the Horde token is available right now. We're on both Ethereum chains and Arbitrum, which are used interchangeably at the moment. We're in the process of migrating entirely to Arbitrum, but at the moment we're on both chains. And we're going to be using the Horde token for two major things. Number one is for governance. We're pivoting. We weren't really decentralized. Horde wasn't fully decentralized, but we're pivoting to become fully decentralized, meaning entirely governed by the community, by the token holders. We actually just released our governance model. People can check it out on Hord.fi and on our Twitter. So that part of it will be pretty straightforward, a regular governance model that I'm sure people are familiar with in the space. The second thing that our token will be used for, which is we're fairly excited about, because we believe this is kind of unique to us in the space, is we're introducing something called real yield, which basically means that users who hold Horde tokens will get a revenue split with the protocol. So
Oh,
out of
that's
the rewards that
interesting.
we're earning from our validators, we're going to split it 50-50 with Horde holders.
That's awesome. I love the idea.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. We actually just announced that earlier this week. We have much more to expand on that.
I love that idea because then it's not just decentralizing the protocol in terms of governance, which is quite common now in terms of the tokens, but also in terms of ownership to a certain extent,
Right.
with the revenue. And I think that's awesome. I love it. Yeah.
Right. So the way we see it, governance is really a service that our community is providing us. It's for us. Having the community help us govern our product makes us more open. It keeps us secure. It reduces our risk, and we see the real yield aspect of it as giving back to the community and keeping everyone fair owners in this project. In addition to regular things that a government could do, which is grants and different allocations for community members. But we see this as a way of really keeping the community involved and building strongly, and also recruiting ambitious people in the space, and people want to grow with us.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Um, I noticed, I mean, on your website, there's quite a bit of information about governance as well. So it seems like it's quite an important part of the whole program, I
Yeah.
suppose. I mean, would you like to touch upon this, like how it works with the voting specifications and how the tokens work?
Yeah, so we actually just released this week, our
Mm-hmm.
governance model. The way it'll work right now is we're using Discourse for the community discussions. Anyone who holds Horde can create a proposal. We'll have initial, I believe it's 14 days of discussion on Discourse, and then the proposal will be brought to a vote on Snapshot using the members' tokens either on Arbitrum or on Ethereum. And then I think this is all kind of still being developed. The exact time that it takes for a vote and all that kind of stuff is being developed, and that itself will be up for a vote in the coming weeks. But the logistics of it are that we will have the discussion happening on Discourse. The voting will happen on Snapshot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this it's awesome. You're really considering the best way to make this decentralized, like you're saying, so that's awesome to hear.
We
Um,
actually got a lot of inspiration from SSV. I'm not just saying this. When we first met with you guys about 2 or 3 months ago, and it was inspiring to see how important the community was for SSV, just in general, having the company and the governance with it, and it was really like a collaborative experience. So we've
mhm.
experienced that through you, and we believe we're all in the Ethereum staking space, and for Ethereum to be healthy as a blockchain, all the companies within it have to be really, really responsible, really healthy. Just we can't mess
Yeah,
up. So
definitely.
it's really cool to see that.
Decentralization through and through, isn't it? It's not just the idea of it, but even like functionally, having distributed, operators and validators and
Right,
breaking
right,
all this down to improve the security of the network. It's essential in all aspects. So yeah, definitely.
exactly.
Um, I'm just wondering then, how would you kind of position Horde then compared to others in this space? What would you kind of say distinguishes Horde from the rest?
Well, the first thing that, as I mentioned, our real yield component,
Hmm.
which is the main distinguisher, I'd say, from the rest of the space. In addition, we put a lot of focus, and I'm not saying that we're necessarily unique in this, but we do put a lot of focus in security and in user experience as well. It's very important, and obviously in that order: security first, user experience second, but both are important.
Hmm.
Um, it's important for us that even people who are not necessarily as crypto native as our early users are bound to be, can come into Horde and stake ETH, and perhaps in the future stake other tokens and participate in ETH staking. Um, we want to make it a very, very easy experience and fun, pretty
Yeah,
pleasant experience.
fantastic stuff. Um, there is obviously the proposal that recently got accepted at SSV. So congratulations on that. It's fantastic news. It's great to have, more builders in this space, and it's an awesome proposal that I had a look at, and so it'd be great to talk more about that. And yeah, could you kind of just give us a run through of the proposal, what it involves?
Uh-huh. Yeah, thank you, first of all. Um, yeah, we're excited about it as well. We're going to be using SSV to help keep our validators help decentralize our validators. So basically, before SSV, we had two models of operation with our validators. Number one was we run our validators, we trust ourselves, we know how seriously we take security. But the setbacks of that are that it's all centralized. There's very clear setbacks of that. The second model was using third-party services to run some of our operators, which we need to probably vet, and then we're putting a lot of trust in an external hand, which we don't love. We don't love doing. And SSV was really a godsend in that degree, which is we both can take some of the validator responsibility out of our hands, diversified, but at the same time, we're not trusting any one source,
Hmm.
which is really a beautiful development in the space. So we're going to be introducing that in a few months. We're currently integrating that with in our test net. We're going to be running at the beginning. I believe it's 20% of our validators will be run through SSV. Um, and as we'll keep exploring that, and as things show that they're stable, we'll increase on that. But yeah, we're very near developing. We're very near completing the integration in testnet, and we'll move to mainnet.
That's really good to hear. I like that. I think that's an important point that you mentioned as well about just sharing that responsibility. You don't have to do everything yourself, and it's great to have this network here that can take this on, but also in a secure way where, again, things are decentralized and secure. So that's definitely one of the key benefits I hear time and time again from people, about using SSV.
Um,
Would you, I noticed there are quite a few benefits you've touched on for, when you complete this proposal, what people can expect. You touch on no minimums, for staking,
mhm.
and easy to stake. You touched on the UI and that. So Do you want to mention them? Because I think those are some key points as well that kind of distinguishes you from others. Because, you get others that say, well, I don't know, you need 32 ETH or 4 ETH, or
Mhm.
there's certain amount that's kind of required. So no minimums to me sounds quite very, quite
Yeah.
different, quite interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to open this up. We feel strongly that as Ethereum moved from proof of work to proof of stake, this model matters. It's not just a money making scheme for people. We need this to work properly for the future of our whole industry, not just within Ethereum. If something bad happens to Ethereum, that will obviously affect our whole industry. So we feel strongly that we want as many people as possible to participate. That's why we have no minimums. And we want to be very easy, like I said, and seamless integration both with the staking and with the unstaking and withdrawing, which will be up soon.
Can you
Um,
just touch on how that
mhm.
roughly, like, how would that actually work without having a minimum? How can
Mhm.
people stake? Is it staking, or is it something? I mean, how does this no minimums idea actually function?
Well, it's very straightforward. So anyone can stake any amounts. By staking, what is actually happening is users are depositing Ethereum into our pool.
Mhm.
Okay? In exchange, they're receiving a token called HETH, which is their receipt token. We, as a pool, collect the Ethereum that everyone's staking, including additional Ethereum that we put in. And once we collect 32 ETH, we then launch a validator. The validator earns rewards, which goes back into the pool. So now, when a user stakes ETH and they received the receipt token HETH, that HETH represents the ETH that they put in, plus whatever increase happened to the pool. So whatever rewards joins back into the pool. So there's really no need for us to have minimums. When
Mhm.
people are staking, they are participating in the entire system of validators that we're running already. So you're gaining rewards from day one. You're not even if you don't stake enough to launch your own validator per se, you're participating already and you're earning rewards from day one.
Mm. I like that. So it's really whatever people can afford, they can chip that in and get rewards straight away. That sounds
Yeah, for
fantastic.
sure. Mhm. Yeah, the 32 ETH barrier is a big barrier. Obviously, we want to make that easier, simpler.
Mhm. So you also talk, in the proposal, talk about you're making it easy for people to stake. Um, Kind of like, how can I say, a very straightforward process. And I'm just wondering, how does that actually work then? I imagine maybe, you touched on earlier about the UI, and I
Mhm.
think maybe the process. So how are you kind of creating this to make it as easy as possible for people to stake?
So in the UI, the first thing you'll see is a staking component. Basically, an input field. You put in how much Ethereum you want to stake.
Hmm.
Um, you stake it, one transaction, you immediately receive your HETH. That's it. That's the whole game. Now
Hmm.
you can see within the app how much you're gaining. You can see how much Hord you're earning also, because like I said in the beginning, you're going to be earning additional Hord, which, like I said, will then generate you real yield in the future. So you can see that all within the app. And yeah, it's a very simple program. So you one place where you stake, one place where you unstake, and stats that you're seeing, general pool stats, our validators you can see from the app. You can see all our rewards coming through. You can see how much we're earning per day, how much we're earning per validator. Everything is very open and accessible.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds really good. So you got all the data there, easy to
Mhm,
stake. Yeah, I think that's awesome to get people started then. And
mhm,
you mentioned as well about low fees.
mhm.
Could you just touch on that? And I'm wondering how they kind of stack up against others.
Yeah, we're taking no zero fees right now for staking. Our
Oh.
fees that we're taking are a 10% reward fee, which are towards the lower end of the market right now.
Mhm.
Um, the 10% we take are from the validator earnings. So basically, when people stake their ETH, the validators, like we said, go on to earn rewards. Out of those rewards, 90% go back into the pool, back into basically increasing the value of HETH, and 10% go to us, the protocol Horde. And from those 10%, again, 50% we keep for development, for in-house costs, and 50% go back to Horde holders. So back to
Mm. So really, you're only keeping 5% then, huh? Just go back into the team and then.
exactly.
leadership.
Now the team does hold a significant amount of Horde right now. So it's not exactly like that. We want to be transparent about that.
Hmm.
But yeah, for development purposes, we're keeping it's going to be 5% of the ETH
Yeah.
earned by rewards.
No, I think that I agree. It makes sense because it's important just to keep developing things, moving forward,
Of course, yeah,
not stagnating.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Um, I think we kind of touched on the proposal. I think it would be helpful as well if we could just kind of touch on, Horde and SSV, the journey we've been on so far, how we've like our relationship and how you
Mhm.
see that kind of moving forward as well. So could you let people know how we've kind of supported each other and where things are moving in the future?
Yeah, we've started working with you guys. I'd say 3 or 4 months ago already. We heard. I don't remember if we reached out, if we heard about you, but the moment we we understood what it is that you do and the technology behind DVT, it was very clear we wanted to partner with you. And so far, we've just been integrating the technology in our test nets to help make our validators more secure. But
Hmm.
we're looking for at the moment to just integrate SSV technology within our validators and moving forward, launch our new validators as they launch with the SSV technology.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I think this is part of our goal as well. We're trying to build a whole ecosystem, on top of this technology, with DVT, and we're supporting people. If you have a great idea, that can use this technology and build upon it, then we're interested in supporting those projects,
Mhm.
making them happen. So yeah, if anyone has any ideas, reach out to us. Because yeah, we're keen to really to build this out and build a whole community to help decentralize Ethereum.
Yeah,
So
I'll just add we've had a great experience so far with everyone we've dealt with. It's we have a great team.
fantastic. I wonder then if I could ask you a bit more about like your vision and your opinion of, this space really going forward. So, I mean, for example, what do you think are some of the challenges right now in staking and how is Horde addressing them?
Mm. I I think the biggest challenge right now in the space is over reliance on a few major platforms. Um, so right now, most of the staked are staked in a number and mainly one big player, and then a number of smaller players who also take up a large portion. For reasons that I mentioned before, that could be very dangerous for Ethereum as a whole. Um, these platforms are doing an amazing job, really really above and beyond, I think, and kind of in ensuring they don't become a monopoly and don't become too powerful. But still, even so, we're still seeing very, very high numbers, above 70%
Hmm.
um, staked in a single entity, which could be dangerous. If something happens to them, God forbid, this is not healthy for the ecosystem. And I hope that they remain secure and stable. So I think that's something that our entire ecosystem needs to do a little better job at. Us and the smaller players in the space need to figure out how to offer the same security, the same kind of safety of mind that these bigger players offer. And it's not easy. It's not simple. Meaning, if you know that everyone is staking within a certain platform, there's a newer one. It feels safer to go where everyone is going, but
Hmm.
that's counterproductive to the industry. So we have to figure out how to do that. It's not a simple solution.
Yeah, great points. And as you're saying, just by I suppose creating this venture and offering an alternative avenue for people to stake, that's already helping to decentralize things, isn't it? And
Right.
maybe it's hard to compete directly with the big names that have like 70%, but even if we had a number of smaller staking providers, even they had like a few percent market share each, that can really add up then to decentralize things.
Sure. It's a process. It'll be slow, but we're on that goal.
Hmm. Where do you see things in this space heading then over the next year?
Um, so an exciting thing that we just saw is this Dankun upgrade that's happening.
Hmm.
the next Ethereum upgrade that's set to happen later this year. Um, an exciting thing they just announced was that they're expecting layer two transactions to be much cheaper with this development. What this means for us is that we should be able to allow our users to stake ETH with layer two Ethereum. There's no real reason for users who hold Ethereum and other layers, which there's multiple reasons for them to do that, to be able to participate in securing the Ethereum network. And the incentive for them would be that it would be cheaper gas fees on layer twos. They wouldn't have to transfer their Ethereum from chain to chain. So that's actually a very exciting development that's been happening fairly recently that we just started working on.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, and I mean, the next question I was going to actually ask you was about innovations happening, and you just kind of touched on that.
Mhm.
Are there any other innovations that you're aware of now, or you can see coming up soon?
Um, well, one of the bigger innovations in the space right now is the Eigenlayer. What they're doing with basically restaking.
Hmm.
What they're doing is using the rewards generated by the validators to they're taking the rewards generated by the validators and they're restaking it and securing other proof of stake networks, which is a very cool concept. We still need to kind of test and prove that better and see how secure that is and what the negative consequences of that may be. But it's very exciting. Just in general, what they're doing is basically dealing with auto compounding. So when ETH is being generated by the pool and rewards are coming in, are they sitting static or are they generating themselves more rewards? And how do you do that in a secure way where you're not risking what you've earned? So we're seeing a number of different innovations in that field. Eigenlayer is one of them. Even different pools that are happening in Pendle and Beefy and other platforms like that are very exciting. And we're definitely going to be incorporating them within Hord once we assess them properly.
Exciting. There's so much happening.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's an awesome time, to be involved in this space, definitely. I think that was all the questions. So, happy to wrap up. All right, so thank you, Mai, for joining us. If you want to find out any more information about Hord, then I recommend checking out Hord.fi. We'll also share the link below. See you all next time. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Bye.